and we are in downtown Manhattan. Now I got to figure out which direction I'm supposed to go. Let's see. I'm going to turn there, go there. Okay, I'm going to go back this way. The first question I ask when I come to Manhattan is, what am I doing here? This place is way too many people in way too small a space, and it's not a place I like to be. I'm just not a big city person, but New York especially, it's just crowded and noisy and dirty and not fun to be here. But I had to come for some meetings. I was here all day yesterday having some meetings with Newsmax. So it's like my once a year trip to New York to meet with Newsmax. And everything went well. They're happy, I'm happy. But, when you come here only once a year, you tend to notice the changes more than you would if you lived here every day. And I tell you, the number of homeless, the number of beggars, the number of migrants is just exponentially higher than the last time I was here about a year ago. And I wanted to talk about that because you probably were used to hearing that New York was a sanctuary city. New York welcomed migrants from all over the world. And now all of a sudden, not so much. They don't want to be a sanctuary city too much anymore. And the question is, why? What changed? And the answer to that question, I think I just went too far. I got to pay attention to where I'm walking here. The answer to that question has to do with something called apportionment. So why this is not just New York, it's also in Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, a lot of these big cities that called themselves sanctuary cities and were welcoming migrants, all of a sudden changed their minds. Why is that? And that comes down to apportionment. So apportionment is something that's done in the census every year, every 10 years, and that helps them figure out how to apportion the 435 delegates in the U.S. Congress. And that process can actually change the makeup of the House of Representatives. It can change, it can flip seats from Republican to Democrat. And they don't have to, the people that they are representing are just bodies. They don't have to be citizens. And so one of the reasons why these cities want to pack their cities with illegal migrants before a census is because then when the census is taken, they just count the number of bodies in those places, and those places can pick up more seats in Congress through apportionment. And that's exactly what they were doing. They wanted to pick up more seats in Democratic areas, and so they were packing those areas with as many people as they could, and it doesn't matter if they are legally there or citizens or anything, just souls, right? And so once the census is over, well, now we got 10 years, we're going to have to pay for these people. And so now they don't want the people here very much. Their strategy is to now try to push these immigrants out of the big cities and into the red zones, red areas, the Republican enclaves, to turn them purple. This is very common occurrence. It's a form of gerrymandering, I suppose. But without a doubt, it is what has been happening. Now, these migrants are extremely costly to the city of New York. And here comes an ambulance and they can't get through. It's kind of stuck. I'm right outside of Grand Central Station. Oh, we got police. We got ambulances. I don't know what they're doing here. He's blocking the road so nobody else can get through. There comes the ambulance. So that's interesting. And he's blocking the road too. I don't know what they're doing over here. Well, anyway, so bottom line is the apportionment issue is one that people don't talk about much. They don't understand much. But that's one of the reasons why President Trump, when he was president in the lead up to the census in 2020, wanted to put a question on the ballot, on the census form about whether or not someone was a citizen. Because by finding out whether or not somebody's a citizen, then they could theoretically exclude those people from the apportionment issue. And that's why the Democrats lost their minds over that and refused to allow that question to be on the form. It wasn't a matter of racism. It wasn't a matter of anything like that. It just simply would have made it much fairer for the apportionment issue. And some say that, I've read that because of the sanctuary city policies packing people into these sanctuary cities, that the Democrats managed to flip probably 4 seats in the House of Representatives after the census. And of course that's always changing, because then you've got people retiring and then people that are getting voted out. And so, but they say that probably 4 seats went to the Democrats because of apportionment. But now they don't want to pay for them. Now they don't want to have to deal with it. If you go to East Village, which is quite a little ways south of where I am now, here in Manhattan, it is absolutely off the charts, like bad down there. There are migrants sleeping on the streets everywhere. There are people defecating in the sidewalk, on people's doorsteps. It's apparently very, very bad. And frankly, I don't know. I just don't understand why anybody would live here. This is just not. I get kind of hyper vigilant when I'm in a place like this, and so it's stressful for me because I'm always on super high alert. And there's this constant ambulances and police running around here. I mean, you got 8 million people here, so I suppose there's a lot of problems. And it just always has me saying, like, what the heck would you do if, there's another terror attack or some major disaster down here? They say there's enough food in New York City to feed the people here for about 3 days, and then they're out of food. So if there's something that stops them from being able to bring food in, it's going to get ugly really fast. It's already ugly. It's going to get uglier. So the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, is now trying to sue the bus companies who are bringing migrants into New York and dumping them here from Texas. They apparently don't mind the migrants so much as long as they're in Texas, but they don't want them here anymore. And the problem with that lawsuit is that these buses are actually not coming into New York City. They're dropping people off in New Jersey, and then they just take the bus or the train across the bridge into New York. So it's kind of hard to have New York City sue these people when they're not even entering New York City. But they're trying to do everything they can to discourage that practice. And they're calling for help from the federal government because they're saying we're getting crushed here. And they are getting crushed. But they're getting crushed because of their own policies. And so it's kind of hard to feel bad for them. But all right, so very short live today. I've got to go to another meeting this morning and then go to the airport. I'll be heading back to sunny Panama this afternoon. And then we're looking at a trip to Guyana early next week to talk about Venezuela deciding to take over half of the country of Guyana in order to get their oil revenues out. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to get to my meeting. And thank you for watching. Take care.